Hello everybody, how is it going? Welcome to another video of playlist learning Python from scratch. In the last video, we had a basic introduction to Python and we compared Python with other programming languages. We also observed the Google Trends statistics regarding various programming languages compared to Python. And we also I also requested you to download the Python latest version along with PyCharm, so I hope you did that. So once you have installed Python, what you can do is, so you can just open up your terminal. So in my case, I'll just open my terminal, and if you are a Windows user, you can just open your command prompt or PowerShell. So let me just clean my screen, and just to check if your Python was installed properly, you can just get in to the terminal and type Python. So you can see it will show me the Python version. So basically it's showing 2.7 when I asked you to download 3.7, right? So actually I have both the version. Let me just quit this. So if you see, I have both of the versions of Python. So if I want to use Python 2.7, I'll just type in Python and hit enter. And if I want to use Python 3.7, I'll just type in like Python 3 and hit enter. And it shows it's Python 3.7. So now I'm in the terminal console of Python 3, not Python 2. So now I can run any commands over here. For example, let's say print 1 plus 2, okay, and it gives me 3. So see, we are just now in a Python console. So if we are to run any Python scripts or Python codes, we can just get into the terminal like this, Python console, and just type in the command. But today I just wanted to demonstrate you how to check if the Python was installed properly to your system. So you can just type in Python. If you have only downloaded and install Python 3.7, the Python itself will work for you. But if you have both the version, like in Mac, generally we have Python 2.7 installed by default. So we don't even need to download Python because it's there by default. But generally till date, by default, it's Python 2.7 that is installed in Mac. So I had to download Python 3.7 separately, and in order to run Python 3, I just use Python 3 instead of Python. So that's not our concern right now. So I just wanted to check. So if you got the same console like Python 3.7 after typing Python or Python 3, you have successfully installed Python to your computer. That's it for now. Now what we can do is, if you have already downloaded your PyCharm, maybe community version or even standard version, I have my own premium version over here, so PyCharm. So no matter in which version you are, just open up your PyCharm. So after your PyCharm is open, you will see something like this. Okay, so let me just close this and close my existing projects. Okay, let me just create a new project for you so we can start from the very beginning. So new project, let me just call this day 2. Okay, let me just create it. Yes. So you can see it's saying creating virtual environment. So we'll talk about virtual environment later on, but virtual environment is a kind of environment where we download all of our libraries, and it's creating a certain kind of environment for us and making us easy to access various types of libraries we want to through our virtual environment directly. But there's nothing to worry right now. So if you're using PyCharm, we can talk about virtual environment later on. But if you are not, yeah, there's something, there could be something to discuss. But right now I'm just keeping it because we are following step by step through PyCharm. So we have a day 2 over here. So you can just right click over here or create a new file. You can just create a new file, or you can just directly create a new Python file. So once you have downloaded Python, you can just give any name. Let's say test dot, you could also type .py, but since we have chosen Python file, so we don't need to type in that. So click OK. So you have a Python file ready, which is inside day 2. So the very first thing I want to discuss about the Python is let's just understand how to print any character or anything. If you want to print anything, there's a simple command, as we already did in our terminal a few moments back, but let's do the same thing over here. Let me just type in print and give the value inside. So since I want to print some character are to be placed within the double quote or single quote in PyCharm like this. So now within the code I can type in something that I want to print. For example, if I want to print let's say hello world, and just type in print, and within the round bracket I just give a quote and say hello world within the quote, right? So the quote here represents that we are about to print a string, or something inside a quote generally refers in Python that it is a string. It is character. So if I want to print hello world, I can just say hello world and save the file. Okay, now in order to test, you generally see a green icon over here. So you can just click that green icon. Also, if it is not visible right now, you can just go over here, run, and click on run. So after you've run, it asks you to choose. So I'm just saying test right now. So now you can see the green icon is there, and we are loading the test file to run. So now you can see the output is hello world. So this file that I have inside this folder, day2 test.py, it is being executed, and you can see whatever we wanted to print, it's printing in our console. Don't worry about, we are not using any, like, let's say web interface, or we are just using the console. So don't bother much about that, because we will just be viewing the output in our Python console right now. But later on we can discuss how to display output in web browsers or any other softwares. So that will be our future plan, but for now let us just focus upon the output, and that we can see from the Python terminal. So this is how we generally print anything. So whether it be string, which is inside a quote, or it just be a number. So let me not remove this line, but copy and paste the same thing and type in some number over there, like 2. So now if I save it and try to run it, it says hello world, and then it says 2, right? So we can see that this was the line that was first executed, and this was the one that is secondly executed. So we can understand from Python that the line that is above executes first, and the line below executes afterwards. So, and that is a general rule, but that could not be the case all the times, because that we'll be discussing about later on. So in order to print a string, we just use quote, and if you want to print a number, we don't use quote. We could even use quote over here, but if we use quote over here, save it and click on run, you will see that it's still printing 2, but now here, since it is inside a quote, it is printing 2 as a string, not as a number. So Python here understands, since 2 is within a quote, and it tries to print it or use it as a string, not as a number. But if it was without quote, it would have surely assumed that it should be a number, which means if you try to print any character over here, like a, okay, so a is a character, so you can see there's an error, and if I try to run it, it will show me some error, because I'm trying to print a string without any quote. So Python is not able to recognize what is that. So let me just put it inside a quote and try to print it, and we can see it prints out the output. So that was the basic concept of printing a string and numbers using print function. And after we have covered the basic printing, let us understand about different types of variables that we can use in Python. For example, in Python, if you want to define a variable, just name a variable. Just make sure you follow the rule of creating variable names. Like variable names should always start with characters, and character in the sense alphabet. It should not begin with number, but it can begin with like underscore. So we can have underscore in the beginning or alphabet in the beginning, but we cannot have number or any other special character before the variable name. So if I want to create a variable name, I should say, and the name of the variable is a, because it is alphabet. But I cannot say the name of the variable is 1a because it begins with number. But I could say underscore a because underscore is valid. Okay, so if I type something, there is no error. Okay, so the variable name in Python should always start with an underscore or an alphabet. So let me just create a variable called a and give a value 2 over here. So this means we are placing value 2 inside variable a, and let's call, we have b, another variable, and the value of b is 3. I'm assigning 3 to b. Now if I want to add these two or just print it, now we could also print it this way, like print a. Now I don't need to use quote inside it because a is no longer a string, it is a name of variable. Now Python even doesn't bother to show any error because it recognizes a, that it was a variable that was defined earlier. So it is now recognizing that a is a variable which has value 2. So when I now save it, let me just ignore these two files and in these two lines, and if I want to ignore lines in Python, I just use a comment. Comment means ignoring some of the lines or some of the codes in Python or any other programming language. We have procedures to add comments. So in order to add comment to this in these two lines, I just add hash in front of it, and in order to do that, you can just press control or command if you are in Mac, control if you are in Windows or Linux. Just press in control and front slash, so it will automatically place in comment over there. So this is how we place comment in Python. Just use hash in front of the line, and now if I try to execute it, it will just ignore these two lines and just print out a for us, which is 2. So if you are not wrong and if you try to run it, the output should be 2, and that's right, because we are trying to print a which has value 2. Similarly, if I print b, it gives me output as 3. You can see over there. And we can also perform mathematical operations or even string operations that we can do, which I'll cover in shortly. But we can also perform mathematical operations, like if I want to add b with a, I can just type in b plus a within the print and the round bracket, and it will execute b plus a and give me output as 3 plus 2, which is equal to 5. So you can see the output is 5. So we can also print strings. So if I have another variable that is c, that says hello world. So we have a variable c that has value hello world inside it. It seems I have 3L over here, so that's why it's showing some. So c is equal to hello world, and if I want to print c, I just use print, the same function, and type in c inside. So I'm trying to print whatever is inside c, and the value inside c is hello world. So if I save it and try to run it, it will print out hello world for me. It just gives 5 because we also are printing b and a. So we are adding b and a, and I'm also printing it and also printing c, which is hello world. So I'm getting the value b plus a equals to 5 and c as hello world. So if I just want to ignore b plus a, I can just place in hash in front of it, and it will not print out b plus a anymore. So if I try to save it and run it, it will just say hello world because we have commented out this line. So this is how we generally use variables to assign values. So the number, we generally have number type of variables, or we generally have a string. There's another kind of variable that we call booleans. So let's say if we have d as another variable, the value of boolean is actually means it can only have two values, like either true or false, yes or no, right or wrong, 0 or 1. These are booleans. So if I want to assign true value or yes, positive affirmative value to D as a boolean, then I just use the text without quote true. So this means D is positive, affirmative 1, true. And if I just want to assign negative boolean to it, I just use the string false without quote. So if we place in quote here, it will no more assume that true is a boolean. It will assume true is a string. Okay, so if I want to assign boolean value to a variable, I just type in true for true and false for false without single quote or double quote. So this is another type of variable, true and false. Okay, so for now we can just understand that these three other types of variable. There are a lot more to explore, but to start we can just say there are numbers which could be integer or even float with decimal like this 2.0. It could be a decimal value as well and it's still valid. Okay, or an integer 3, or a string hello world, or boolean true or false. So these are different types of variable or data type in Python that can be assigned to a variable. So after learning this, we'll just be covering some of the few arithmetic operators and string operations right now. So let's say we have a plus b, and if I want to add this, I'll just use plus like we did over here. So if I want to add this and place it inside some another variable, so once we have done some operation, we can also assign that operation to some variable. For example, if I want to add a and b and place the result inside c, I can just say c, since I've already used c, d and e, I just like to call it f. F equals to a plus b. Okay, so now you can see we have a variable f that is equals to a plus b. Now if I try to print f, I can just say print f, and I'll just comment out print c for now. So the f is only the value that is getting printed. So let me just press run, and we can see that 5.0 is printed out for us. This means the f is now has a result a plus b inside it, which is equals to 3 plus 2.0, which is 5.0, and that is getting printed out. Similarly, we could also perform subtraction or multiplication or division here. So if I want to just subtract a and b from a, then I just say a minus b, and it gives me output minus or negative 1.0, which means 2.0 minus 3 is minus 1.0 or negative 1.0. I could also multiply it by just using asterisk sign. So asterisk in Python and most of the other programming languages stands for multiplication. So if I now try to run this, I get 6.0, which means 2.0 into 3 is 6.0. We can also use division operator by using front slash like this. So a divided by b should give us something like 2 divided by 3. So let us try this, which is 0.6666, and that's right. We could also use operators like modulus. Okay, so modulus here is something different, and actually it is similar to division, but instead of getting us the value, it gives us the remainder. So whenever we try to divide, let me just be more specific over here. So if I divide 7 by 3, we know that 3 times 2 is 6, and it gives us remainder 1. So the output of a modulus b, which means 7 modulus 3, is 1, because the remainder is 1. So you can see here the answer is 1. So this is modulus. We also have something called power. Now in order to use power, we can, if I want to do something like 7 to the power 3, which means 7 times 7 times 7, I can just use the sign asterisk and asterisk 2 times. So single asterisk means multiplication, and if we use 2 asterisks, it means that we are trying to use power instead of multiplication, which means 7 to the power 3 is 7 times 7 times 7. So now if I try to execute it, we will get the result 743, which means 7 times 7 to the power 3 is 743. So this is how we can do various types of arithmetic operations using Python. Similarly, we could also cover some of the operations related to strings. For example, let me just comment out all these lines for now. So all these lines. Let me also comment out these lines. So let me start with another variable that says g equals to my name is, and I just want to give a space over here, or let's not give a space. And we have another variable called h, and which has my name Anwar Ali. If I try to save this, and let's say I want to merge both of these to a single string. For example, I want to get a string that says my name is Anwar Ali. So what I can do here is I can create another variable, just do like this: I equals to g dot, not dot, plus h. So plus, if we have a variable that has value of integer or a number, it will the plus here generally adds the two variables. But if we have values of string in our variable, it will understand that this is not a number and it should not add it, rather it should join these two variables into a single string, which we generally call concatenation. So if I want to concatenate two strings, that means I want to join two strings, I also use the sign plus. So I just say g plus h, so it should join these two string into a single string and place it inside I. And if I want to print I just write print I, save it and run it. Now we should get a single string that says my name is Anwar Ali. Now you can see here, since I don't have space in between, so that's why it's joining is and Anwar together. So what I can do is either I can add a space over here, save it and run it, and the space is over there, or what I can do is I can add a new space over here and run it, and the space is still there. Or what I can do is I just wanted to teach you something else. So if I want to add any custom string, my own strings between these two variables, I could have another plus here, and I can place my string in between these two pluses. That is space. So this generally means I'm concatenating the string that is inside G with a string that is a space in between with the string that is inside H. So this says my name is space Anwar Ali. So we should get the same output now. So you can see my name is Anwar Ali. So this is how we concatenate strings in Python, using Python. So these were some of the basic informations that I wanted to give to you, because these are very basic and we'll be using these stuffs frequently in our coming classes and also in coming days when you want to build some application in Python. So these are the basic stuffs, and we learned about printing the strings, printing numbers. We could even print some operations like 3 plus 4 arithmetic operations. We learned how to use different arithmetic operations for addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, modulus, and power. We also learned about a string operation, that was assigning a string to a variable, concatenating two strings, concatenating two variables along with strings. So we covered all that. So I think that's it for today. We'll continue with more lessons on Python tomorrow, and if there's any questions regarding this, do let me know. And for your ease, I will also add my codes to a GitHub account and share the GitHub URL with you, so that you can just go through the codes. I'll be pushing all these files in GitHub, so there might be some comments. You could remove those to go through them one by one. Hope to see you guys in another video. Till then, if you like the video, you can subscribe to my channel and like the video and share it. I'll see you guys in another video. Till then, have a nice time. Goodbye.